All right, guys, this is question and answers. I'm going to do it like a podcast so I can get rid of a lot of this. Damn. So I can get rid of a lot of these question and answers I've had through the years. Actually, a year ago. Might be some that's longer. I want to get caught up on them and let you guys kind of do this podcast. I'm going to try to make it an hour long. First one is from Dan, the new 2020 Easton Empire, Ronnie Salcedo. He's looking for a quick review on the new 2020 Easton Empire, Ronnie Salcedo. I have not done a review on that bat, nor am I going to do a review on that bat. I'll just wait till the 2021s come around. And the problem with that was I got way caught up in a lot of that. Was around the same time I was doing the Ron Parnell, and I had a lot of stuff on my plate around that same time. I had the Mikens coming around. There was a few other bats I was working on at that time, the Worth bats, and I just didn't, get to it. And whenever you do this, and you can't get to a bat, you really don't want to do a review on it because the next batch is going to be out at the beginning of the year next year. The 2021s are going to be out, so I just decided to wait and then let you guys know what I thought about the 2021s, because basically that's what I'm doing. I'm waiting to see 2021's Easton. And I was on the message board the other day. I think I might have pasted it on, or copied it on shared it on my Facebook page about the new Eastons that are coming out, the 2021 Eastons. This is from James. Do you think the Matrix or the Billy Hudson is a better bat? Which one do you like? Well, I've just done the Billy Hudson, and I like that bat. I think it's number 8 on my top 10. The bat makes a nice sound when you're hitting it. I think it's not a stiff handle, but it's not a flexible handle. A lot of you guys are going to like this bat, I think. I am hearing through a bunch of people that the Daisy is actually the one I need to do next with the Onyx, but I have not swung the Matrix. I don't know. I really can't say anything about the Matrix because I haven't swung it. I just know the Hudson's a good bat. And I'm hearing these rumors about the Daisy. It's got a 3/4 ounce end load in it, not a 1/2 ounce end load, which I don't know why they go by those numbers anyway, because it's usually not done like that. So I think next one I'm going to do is the Daisy, and I'm actually looking for one right now. This one's from Peter, and this is actually a pretty good question. So you can't get nobody to answer it right for him. He wants to know, he has a 26 ounce bat and a 30 ounce bat, is exact same model. Both bats are exact same model. When you're going up in weight, where do they put the extra 4 ounces? In the end or in the handle or both? Now and this is a question that if I answer it, somebody's out there going to say, try to prove me wrong. But I'm going to tell you what I've experienced throughout the years is this. Very seldom, the way it's supposed to go is you have a bat and you go up and it's the same brand, the same make, same model, and you go up in weight, you're supposed to add a 1/2 ounce to the handle, 1/2 ounce to the end. Well, that's the way it's supposed to go. Well, you got a lot of bat companies out there that actually don't do it like that. They just, because of quality control, they just put it wherever. 3/4 ounce in the end, 1/2 ounce in the handle. On one bat, next bat will have 3/4 ounce on the handle. 1/4 ounce on the end. So I've weighed them, guys. I mean, I've measured the way I weigh my bats. And if you guys are a fan of the channel, you know the way I do it. So uh, no bat company is precise on how they go up in weight. They're a lot better than they were 10 years ago, because 10 years ago, you know, if it said 28 ounces on it, you'd pick up some bats and they were 29, 29 and a half to 30 ounce bats, you know, on a 28 ounce, you know, and then you'd get they always add extra weight on a lot of these bats. So to answer your question, they usually go in half ounce increments when they're going up. And a lot of these bat companies really don't do that. I mean, they might be off just a little bit. The most accurate ones that I know of are the Suncoast, the Dudleys will do it, and the Mikens, and that's the only ones that actually quality control when they're building their bats is pretty good with them. Next question is from Rodriguez. 2018 Hot W's. Which one? Wow. Which one of those bats is the hottest on the Hot W? You guys remember these bats when they first came out, had serial numbers on them? And a lot of the seniors out there, I heard from Florida, my brothers from Florida, like swinging those bats. And Mr. Rodriguez wants to know, he wants to know what serial numbers were on those bats that were the hottest. I will say this, the hottest ones didn't have a serial number on them. The next one was a 131. It starts off at a 131 serial number. One up above that was a 151, 161. And when you got into the 181 above, they started to crack a little more. But if you get a hold of a 131, that was the hottest. It was the first run of bats, which were the hottest bats I think out there. And but guys, here's the problem with those: nobody had a lot of them, and a lot of you older guys would enjoy swinging that bat. 70-plus-year-old guys, 65-plus-year-old guys would really love swinging that bat, because that was a very hot bat for you guys. This next question is from Dan. Dave, I seen a video on YouTube talking about the Wip Strip. Does it work? No, it does not work. They're talking about increases bat speed by 30% or 20% or something like that, which actually is quite a bit. And if you guys get on my front page of my website, look at the very bottom and of that page. That's where I got the idea to do these two videos that I'm doing, that I did on the front page of my website, called the Jack Slap and the Elbow Jack. And I wanted to make fun of the people that put these products out there like a quick fix, you know. And then at the end of the video, I said, get on my website, www. I need to get my fat ass off the couch and hit the weights if I want to hit morehomeruns.com. Well, I seen that video too that you're talking about the Wip Strip. It's a little device you put around your middle finger and you wrap it around the bottom of the bat, and it's supposed to generate more bat speed. It's just a gimmick, guys, that a lot of people actually buy into and waste their money on. It really doesn't do that. It doesn't increase your bat speed. There's nothing out there, unless you get into the gym and hit the weights, that's going to increase your bat speed. So don't buy these products that false advertising, that falsely talk about, I think that one's at 30%, something like that. It's just trying to make money off of you guys. All right, this next question is from Rick. What do you think about the prices that the OG red knobs are going for? Okay, guys, I've got to talk about this, and I might get a little long in this answer on this question. About 2 months ago, well, first of all, right before I got sick with COVID, I put out feelers for, I was looking for this bat, the 12-inch OG red knob. Well, I got somebody that actually contacted me, said he had one brand new out of the wrapper. Would I pay $350 for it? And I was like, shit, you know. And I started doing some calculating and how long that bat would last me. And I was like, something, I'm going to go ahead and invest that money. I'm going to go ahead and get it because I think that bat would last me probably a couple of years. So I got it. Guy sent it to me and I stuck it in the garage because I had another one that I was swinging that had about 2,500 swings on it. And I was going to wait to swing that one next year. Well, I got the COVID, lost a lot of weight, and I lost a lot of strength. So I got Bobby Gilbert to send me a 26-ounce red knob because he's got like 10 of them at his house. And he sent me one of his gamers because he swings Dudley now. Excuse me. He swings DeMarini now. And I got him to send me his gamer. It probably had 2,500 swings on it. 26-ounce. Well, I love the way that bat felt because I'd lost all that strength, right? And I was whipping it really good. So I I want to buy a couple more of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell my 27-ounce on eBay. And I know a lot of you guys don't like going through eBay because, they charge you a lot of money to sell their product there. Matter of fact, after I'm going to tell you how much I spent to sell this bat here on eBay. So I put it on there for $250. I figured it would go up a little bit. So I put it on there for $250. It started going up, probably on like the third day, and it started going up quite a bit. Well, whenever I checked, when it said it sold, I went to hell, I think I was somewhere. I don't know where I was at, and I checked on my computer, and it sold for $1,025. So that was me that sold that one, the first one that I'm aware of on eBay for $1,025. And there were 3 people bidding on that bat. So I actually messaged the guy, and my words, and he can tell you this I'm not going to tell you who bought it, but if he ever talks to you, my words to him were, "Are you fucking crazy?" And he replied back, and he told me that his sons actually went in and pinched in and got him that bat. Well, I sent it out to him, and I started thinking, and then all of a sudden, somebody shared that off eBay and put it on Facebook, and there was a lot of comments on there about from people that really didn't sit there and do the calculations on how old people are when they're swinging that bat, how much bat speed they're generating. Because of a lot of the guys that are 65, 60 years old, 55 years old, that are different hitters, and they're not like Bubba. You guys have seen Bubba swing the bat. He just goes all out every time, and he swings very hard. So the guy that kind of swings like me, okay, because I don't go out every time. My swing has been up to, 100%, 75%, 50%. That bat would last me brand new, and I did the calculations, at least 2 years. Now, the guy that doesn't swing like me, and that doesn't go all out all the time, but he's just placing the ball, that would probably last him 3 years, maybe 4. So you got to look at the money that this guy would spend, and he can probably hit this bat in a little cooler weather than a harder barrel bat because it does get soft on this barrel. So you got to calculate all this in. He could swing it a lot more in colder weather. I wouldn't recommend it, but you know what I'm talking about. So I think this guy did the calculating like I did, and he figured it's well worth the money to spend that kind of money on that bat, and it'd probably be the only bat he owned for the next 4 or 5 years. So if you look at it that way, he didn't do a bad deal there. And then you have these guys, that jump on there and they start talking, why didn't you just buy this bat? Because this bat's just as good as that bat. I get that a lot, and I just laugh about it. When you're talking about the OG Dudleys and the 2.0s, I'll put those in there too. And and then you have these guys out there that that talk about they have these bats that are coming up, and they talk about this bat's coming up is good. They always use Dudley as an example, the 2.0s or the OGs an example. Well, this bat's as good as that bat. Well, they're picking the top bat out there and they're putting their bat in with it in the same sentence and saying, "Oh, this bat's as good as that bat." Well, it, there will never be a bat, guys. I'm telling you right now, there will never be a bat right now that I know of that has the longevity, the pop, the flex, the handle weight, the formula is what I'm talking about, as the OGs and the 2.0s. And then a lot of guys, you'll hear them on podcasts. I heard it on JBI podcast. You guys want to go, he's very entertaining. I've talked to the guy, I like him. Let's go watch his podcast, JBI. He comes out on every Friday, and I think he'll blow one in there once in a while, but he'll have a few guests on there and talk to them. But what I like about these guys doing these podcasts is they're bringing awareness to senior softball. They're bringing awareness to the 40s, the 50s, usually JBIs in the 40s and 50s. He's talking to those guys. He's talking to Carlos Vega. He's talking to Elite Sports. He's talking to Monster. He's talking to Billy Hudson. He has a lot of guests on there, top tier athletes, I guess, softball on there. And he was even saying, "Well, I'm a Dudley guy. Dave Velasquez is a Dudley guy." Well, really, I'm really not a Dudley guy. I'm a whatever bats out there is a top performing bat guy. The Dudley has longevity. If you guys, they made a mistake when they made the Dudleys. The 2.0s, not as much as the OGs, because the 2.0s didn't last as long, but they lasted 2,000 swings. The OGs would last 3,500. I know somebody that got 4,000 swings on that bat. So I'm not necessarily a Dudley guy. If there's something else, I'm kind of fickle when it comes to that. When something else comes around that has the performance as one of those bats, I'll be swinging it. But that's the saying right now is I'm the Dudley guy, the OGs. Well, guys, get a grasp of reality here. That is probably one of the best bats ever made. And I would love to compare, I would love to have to compare that bat against the original Ultras, the gray bats back in the day, hitting the same balls. You know what I mean? I actually think that bat performs better than that OG, the original Ultra, the Mikan. But that's just me. That's just my opinion, which is why I do all these, because of my opinion. And the bat that went for over $1,000, and I did pay, just to let you guys know, that cost me $100 to put it on eBay. But what I get with eBay is it's kind of like an insurance policy with you guys, because if you buy it and you don't like it, or it doesn't have what I said it does, because I said it was new out of wrapper. And if you would have got it and it had any ball marks on it, you could actually send it back to me and get your money back. So not only are you insured, I am insured too, that I'm going to get my money. So, and the guy paid me like within a couple of hours. I had that money deposit right in my account. And what I did with that money, turned around and bought a case of balls from Allen Tanner balls, not the hot ones, the 44 375 compression balls. I think I bought a case from him, and I bought the Billy Hudson bat. I bought that bat, and I might have bought another bat, I think, too. So that all went back into the company from buying other stuff. But to each his own. They're still going on eBay. There's still people selling them. Average price right now, I think, is around $400 or $500 for those bats that are used. And here's the deal, it's like with anything. If it's supply and demand, if you want it, you're going to get it. Um, but don't, guys. The one thing I don't want you to do is don't sit there and say, "Hell, I could have bought 2 Eastons for that," or I could have bought the 5 Eastons for that. Well, they're not going to perform as well. They're not going to last as long, And then a lot of you guys out there saying, "Well, my bat's better than the OG." It's just funny. But it's their opinion too. You got to look at it that way too. But in reality, I've swung that bat, and it's the best bat that I have ever laid my hands on. Was the OG 2.0. I love too. I swung it last year. I swung it to the end of this year when I went and played Worlds 55s up in Utah, and then I swung it again in Utah. So I was swinging between the OG. When I cracked my OG, I went back to the 2.0. Oh, the original 2.0, not the reissued 2.0. And a lot of people are asking me the difference between those two bats too. The difference between the reissued and the original 2.0. Original will last about 1,500 swings more than the reissued, and which I think they did was they just made it and didn't put that much money into the Kevlar or the carbon that they bought. They bought cheaper Kevlar and cheaper carbon, and then what happens? Those bats started cracking within 500-600 swings. Performance was there, but not as close. Like it loses a little bit of performance, but we're talking about maybe 5 feet, guys, at the most, 3 to 5 feet in performance from the OG 2.0 to the reissued. And it all depends. It all depends. If you're hitting against the wind, that's 5 feet. That's quite a bit. Or if you're hitting a shitty ball, 5 feet is quite a bit too. So these bats, and here's Billy kind of gets on my ass about this too, senior. Like I should have kept my mouth shut, stockpiled as much of those bats as I could, stick them in a closet, and a couple of years down the road, turn around and get my money's worth out of them, But I don't even think about that kind of shit, when it comes to things like that. I don't even think about making money. Um, but hell, to each its own, man. I mean, if you can get that kind of money out of it, go ahead and throw it out there. I never thought I would get. I was surprised, like you would not believe, whenever that auction ended. Everybody was bidding on it, and then that number came up. I'm like, holy shit. Next question is from Dan. What cameras do you use? Can you go into detail? Well, when I'm doing my GoPro, when I'm doing my reviews, I do a GoPro, and it's about 2 feet off the ground. I don't like things that are too high up on a tripod because you don't see the trajectory of the ball. A lot of people will, cut it off at the top where you can't see where the ball's going, and you sit there and you hit a 500-foot shot, and that one went 500 foot. Well, how the hell do we know? We can't see the ball. So I wanted a lot of my guys that would watch my girls that would watch my videos want to see where that ball landed. So the best way I can do that, I got a GoPro Hero 4. It's the one that has a screen on the back. You can see through it. I would set it up 2 feet off the ground and put it at an angle looking up. And I would have it at narrow, not wide, but narrow. And I would put it up there. And that's what I do my reviews with. Talking inside the truck, and I've always done that. It's like a trademark. I have I have an office in my house, but the truck thing has just became something that a lot of people look at, a lot of people seen, and it's just something that I've always done, and I don't think I'm going to get away from it anytime soon. That is done with my iPhone. I think it's a 8 Plus, and it does the trick. It's got a good camera on it, good audio, and I got a little bitty tripod that sits on my dash, and I do that with my camera, my iPhone camera. Now games, whenever you guys see my games, that's not with a GoPro. I don't like using a GoPro in games because it doesn't show the whole infield. You know, you can barely see the ball going through the infield. What I've done was, you know, it's not bad, it's not great, but it's not bad, as I've got a little small JVC. I got it off eBay, pretty cheap. Uh, and it's got a memory card in it that's got over 100 gigs. It could probably do 11 games, and I've got the extra batteries. I always carry extra batteries. And then here recently, I bought the big battery, so I can charge up those batteries, that little portable battery. It looks like a big wallet. I have one of those. I towed everything around. The one thing you don't want to do is run out of battery life, and you don't want to run out of film, um, like storage space, you know, on your little cards. So I make sure that I have all of those. Now I take my Mac top. I've got a right here in front of me. I'm looking at it, but it's I got a Mac Apple computer, and that night when I go in, like if I'm playing a tournament, that night I'll go in, I'll take it with me everywhere, and I'll download all my videos onto iMovie, which if you have a Mac top uh, laptop, you automatically have iMovie, so you get to use iMovie, you download it onto there, and you cut it up, you know, onto what you want to see. You can cut the innings out like I do, and then you put it when you download it onto your desktop, and you go from your desktop up to YouTube. And it's pretty easy after you've done it. I'm not really computer savvy, but it's, you know, I got used to it. You know, I can go download a movie. I can download, yeah, well, a movie that playing softball movie is usually about an hour and 15 minutes long. I can download it about less than 10 minutes, maybe 8 minutes, something like that, pretty fast. And then I can start download. It takes a little while to download it onto your desktop, and that's how I do a lot of my stuff in it. And it's kind of, you guys, you gotta make sure. It's kind of pain in the ass toting all this shit around and playing softball and making sure everything's straight, making sure nothing gets cut off, checking the camera to make sure your batteries didn't run down, because if you play a good game, you know, that's one thing too. You know, I've been where I've played games and my battery life just dies on me, and we come back and win and everybody's so excited. And then I go look at the, the camera and it's dead, you know, and I check if the battery's dead on it, and that's happened in the past too. So I always make sure, I always check my cameras during the game all the time. So it's not that hard. I recommend everybody out there that's listening to this, you know, get some sort of camera. Make sure you hold the camera sideways, okay? Don't hold it up and down. That's the generic way. That's the way they did it 10 years ago. You know, hold it sideways, so you get the whole field, and you don't just, you know, you hold it straight up and down, and you get just one object. It looks like shit. It looks generic, like a, you know, some beginner did it. And another thing too, always, guys, and this is the one thing that I've seen a lot of you guys do. Always clean your lens off whenever you start videotaping or taking pictures or anything like that. Always clean your lens off on both sides, because you know you can swap it around where it's looking at you, and then you to the front. You always clean your lens off, because what happens when you get that kind of foggy look in your camera, that's usually because your fingerprint, which has oil on it, hits that lens and it smudges it. And it, you know, I learned this a long time ago. You know, when my at the beginning, I always clean my lenses and make sure that everything's clean. This one's from Todd. What is Billy's gamer? As of right now, what are we going to be, 1st of November? Billy's gamer is the OG Red Knob 27 ounce. That is his gamer. That's what he took to Utah when he was playing 60s and 65s. That's what he's swinging. He actually hits that bat very well. He's got 5 of them. Probably 2 of them in his bag and 3 in the garage. That's the way Billy rolls. He always stockpiles on good bats. So that's what Billy's gamer is, the OG Dudley Red Knob. This from Robert. How's it going with the eye, Dave? How's everything? Do you continue still see? Can you still see? I had the same problem, and I still have problems with my eye. Guys, my eye has gotten. It's not gotten better. I went to go for a checkup about 2 months ago. He said there's this new procedure out where what's happening to me now is I can see through the eye. I have a couple of blind spots in my peripheral vision. One's above, one's below. And I still see lines in my eye, like if I'm looking at a pole or a straight line through my right eye, it's crooked. It's got a bunch of waves in it, but I can see clear. So what's happening is the doc just told me this a couple of months ago. The doc said that scar tissue. So at the back of your eye, you know, where the retina's at, where it tore, and he had to put it together, and he lasered it together. That scar tissue that the light is not letting it go through. And it actually, if you guys know what I'm talking about, it's a prism. In other words, the light bends when it goes through the scar tissue before it hits the back of the retina where it gathers all the light, sends it to the brain. But there's a way he's going to do it orthoscopically. He's going to go back into the eye and scrape that scar tissue off in the back. I'll wear our patch for about a month, and that's the recoup time is a month. And hopefully it'll clean a lot of that up where I can have good vision in my right eye. My problem right now is depth perception, where balls being hit at me on the infield, it's hard for me to get a reaction to them because I cannot see how fast the ball's coming at me because of my right eye. I see things far away in my right eye, I see them closer up, which that has a lot to do with the scar tissue because of the prism. The light is bending when it goes through the scar tissue. So hopefully, end of this month, end of November, I'll have a lot of that looked at, you know, and hopefully he can go in and correct it. And I can start taking infield. You know, I'd love to get back at first base and start playing first base. And maybe, we'll see, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. This one is from Tom. Where has Billy been? I don't see him on any of the behind the scenes videos. Billy, this time of year, shuts it down a little bit. It's getting colder outside. We didn't hit this week because of the cold. They had a big cold front come in San Antonio. After Worlds, Billy was up there for I think a week, 7 days, playing 65s and 60s. What happens is Billy usually shuts it down this year after softball. He comes out and hits with us every once in a while. But Billy lives on a farm. He has horses, chickens, animals that he takes care of, him and his wife. So from last thing I heard that he had to rebuild the front of the horse fence. There's a horse fence that divides the horse on the back of his land. And he had to go in there and do some fence building. And we're trying to get him to come out and hit because I like to hear him talk. Everybody likes to hear him talk behind the scenes when he's talking about things. And he's got to get caught up because he was out of town for 7 days and he got ready. He was hitting a lot of balls before he went out of town. So now he's doing honeydew stuff, and he does this every year, getting ready for winter down here. And I think he built their barn. So he's just doing a lot of work down here for the horses and the chickens. I think he's building a chicken coop. So that's what he's doing. He's doing a lot of work. His wife's happy about it, though. So as long as she's happy, he'll be happy. All right, this one's from Scott. 2020 Mike McCarran versus the 2020 Big Cat. Which one would you pick? And how long does it take to break in each one of those bats? Well, if you guys would have seen my video on the 2020 Mike McCarran, I love that bat. It's got a little bit bigger barrel than I would prefer. I'm a short barrel guy, 12 and a half inches. I've swung 12 and a half inches most of my career, most of my life. When it comes to swinging, that bat takes around 600 swings to break in. Roughly about 600 swings to break in. Me, Bubba, and Billy, because that's how long it took for it to open up for us. 600. A lot of you guys are going to hate it. I've said this in past videos. A lot of you guys are going to hate that bat. You're not going to like it. You're going to give up on it. A lot of you older guys are not going to like that bat. You just need to get rid of it. If your bat speed is under 80 miles an hour, you just need to get rid of it. Sell it to some younger kid, 40s, 50s. They're going to love it. Barrel on it's a little harder. It does take a long time to break it in, which you guys can't do that. It just, you guys that are over the age of 60, it's just so hard, especially with winter coming up, to get quality swings. I'm talking about quality swings, 600. You got to be using 44, 375 pound balls. Good balls, not talking about shit balls. I'm talking about you got to hit good balls. If you don't hit good balls, it takes a little longer to break in. That 600 turns into 800 for that bat. The 2020 Big Cat Diffusion, I like that bat. I would pick the McCarran over that bat, and the reason, first let me talk about how long it takes to break the Big Cat in. Probably around 150 swings, which I think it's average for a lot of bats on that top 10 that I have, top 12 that I have. It takes about that much, 150, 200 swings to really get it where it's opened up. The Dudleys two-piece, the Dudley one piece takes a little longer. A lot of you older guys aren't going to like it. The Big Cat's got a softer barrel than the Dudley. The problem that I have, and the reason that I picked the McCarran, even the Nifong, the Magistries bats over that Big Cat, is the way it's loaded. Miken has not really got on board with how to load their end caps. If you would cut open a Dudley and then cut open a Big Cat or any kind of Miken, you'll notice that the Dudley has dense mass on the end of their bats. It's just they have dense mass. I mean, they put, let's say, 3 ounces in a very small area in the Dudleys. You take that 3 ounces and they shoot it through the handle in the Mikens, and it builds up to probably around 1.5 inches, up into the barrel, which takes away, makes the bat shorter, not only in the way it performs, but it makes the shorter sweet spot on it too. That's why I think the Dudleys get better performance. They may not be made as good, if that makes any sense, but the way they loaded it makes up for the performance that it lags in. And I know that's kind of hard for a lot of you guys to actually, but if you think about it, you'll get it, because the way the bat's loaded, less handle weight, with the Dudleys, because the Dudleys do have less handle weight than the Mikens. So basically I would take the Mike McCarran, Scott. But Big Cat's not a bad bat. I swung one the other day. I swung one of the old ones. I love it. It's the black and, if you guys see behind the scenes videos, it's the black and gold one. This is from Miller, Mr. Miller. Looking for some BP balls. What do you recommend? Okay, guys, I need to talk to you about this too. The BP balls that I use are for reviews only. They're not necessarily to take batting practice in. But let me first talk to you about what I use. 44 375 compression balls. I use Dudley Thunder Advances, mainly in my bag. Okay, the second most in my bag is only have two kind of balls in my bag, and I have a few rocks, 44 375 compression rocks in there from last year, probably around 10. And I've got three bags. I think I have 250 balls in those three bags when we hit. I like to hit and not pick up and go back and hit again. I like to hit, pick them up, and get out of there. That's why I have so many balls. The Allen Tanner, the second most balls I have in my bag is the Allen Tanner, the AT, was it Team One Sports. That has a stamp on it. It's made by Trump. They're 44 375. Those balls are pretty hot. They last a long time. I've got balls from him for 2 years ago in my bag, so they do last a long time. And they hold up. They get a little bit of water on them. They'll actually hold up. They won't get heavy on me. And that's what I like. But I go through balls, guys, probably every year. I kind of weed out a lot of the old ones. I'll give them to a lot of the seniors that hit on the next field next to where we hit. I'll just take them and dump them over there. And then I'll order a case more from Allen or a case more from Dudley. But I'm going to say this. If you guys really want to get good, if you guys, when you put in the work, you really want to get where you're learning something, go out and get the shittiest ball that you can hit and hit BP with that ball. There's a few things you're going to do. You're going to try to hit it harder, okay, to get it through the infield. And you're going to start trying to cut the ball to get some distance on it, because those shitty balls, you got to cut them to get distance on it. So you're actually going to teach yourself how to cut a ball. And those are one of the ways. Another way, too, is hit on a field where the wind's blowing in, and don't hit on a damn softball field. And when you do hit on a softball field, back up behind the plate. Like if the only place you can hit is on a softball field, back up behind the plate. Make it about 320 instead of just 300. Nobody should be taking BP on a softball field, ever on a softball field. Take BP on a baseball field. And even on a baseball field, back up. Make it a challenge to you. You'll find out that you just can't hit them fly balls in the air anymore to hit it out. You're going to have to cut the ball. You're going to have to drive the ball. Get that lift on it. And hopefully you hit when the wind's blowing in on that field during the year. Because it doesn't blow in on that field the whole year long. You're going to have some times where you go out there and it's like a good hitting day. That wind's blowing out a little bit, but mainly, hopefully, that you're going to hit against the wind, because that makes your swing. You actually don't dip anymore. You actually want to drive the ball through the wind, kind of like a golf shot. You want to hit that golf shot going through the wind. Billy taught me this back in 1981. He would bring out the shittiest balls. You remember the Optima Gold? It had a hollow inside. He would bring out the shittiest balls for us to hit, and I hated it. I hated taking BP. I like, because I was a young kid, I like hitting the long ones. So I would want to take BP with the good balls. But Billy didn't talk that much back in the day. And I just realized when I got into my 30s what he was doing. He was teaching himself to cut the ball down, and you had to spin it to get any distance on it over time. So I recommend, don't get the hottest balls out there. Kind of get the ones that, if you don't want to hit the duds, the pieces of crap, you guys remember the perfect ball for you guys to hit. Perfect ball for you guys to hit. You guys remember the Trump from a couple of years ago? I forget, but everybody hated them. The Trump balls. Remember in Vegas, they would always hit the rocks, and in every other SSUSA tournament, they would always hit those piece of shit Trumps. Find some of those that somebody wants to get rid of. Start hitting BP with those. You'll find out that your swing will get better, because you're not just trying to lift the ball anymore to try to see how far everybody can hit it. You're going to start driving that. And then go to a game, like when you play your games and you hit rocks, shit, your batting average goes up 50 points. Guarantee you that. Your batting average goes up 50 points if you hit shit balls in BP. Billy taught me that 40-something years ago. 39 years ago. To hit shitty balls. And it actually makes your game a lot better, because nobody hits shitty balls whenever you go to these tournaments that they can have. The Trumps were the worst ones that I think that I've hit. you know, the DeMarinis in another tournament. But shit, you're used to hitting that anyway. If you're hitting the shitty balls in BP, you're used to hitting shitty balls in the game if you have to hit shitty balls. But damn, when you start hitting them rocks and you start hitting them P-rods through the infield, I mean, you're going to thank me for that shit. Okay. I think I answered this question. How long does it take? This is from Todd. How long does it take to break a big cat in a 2020, the Fusion? Probably around 100, same thing, 150 swings, 120 swings, 150, maybe 200. You know, it took us about 150 swings to break that Fusion 2020 big cat in. That bat is a hot bat. The only problem that I had with that bat, other than the load, the way Mikens loads all their bats, is actually the way that they didn't put a lot of inload on that bat. You know what I mean? Mike and the big cat used to be loaded like a full ounce on the end. Actually, that's what they advertised years ago. You know, the Mike and Mike Masinko, the big cat, always had a 1 ounce end load. Well, I think they got away from that, and I kind of know why, but I don't want to throw it out there because I don't want anybody, you know, ruffle any feathers. But I know why they took that. They're probably running a 3/4 ounce end load in it now. I don't think it's a half ounce end load, which that don't mean shit to me anyway. But just to give you guys perspective on what I'm talking about, I think they did a 3/4 ounce, got away from the full ounce. It weighed light for me. You know, I picked up shit when you got the Mike McCarron and the Bobby Nifong outweighing it, you know, and they're just regular inloads and they're outweighing the big cat. Then big cat's not like a super max. So that's the only thing I didn't like about it because I like swinging that big mass on the end. All right, next question is from Chris. What is your formula? You talk about formula in a lot of your videos. What is your formula when it comes to picking bats? And I've been told not to answer this question. And here's the reason why. A lot of you guys like hearing about formulas, and if you guys have paid attention to my channel, you probably know what my formula is. And you're wanting to know handle weight, end weight, knob weight, all this other stuff, total weight, and you got to understand that and this has happened to me in the past, gentlemen. It happened twice. I start talking about it. If you guys remember my videos from 10 years ago, I always preached about handle weight. I always preached about end weight, dense mass on the end of bats. Well, that has actually changed over the years. DeMarini used to have a lot of hand weight. You know, Combat had a tremendous amount of hand weight. And I always said there was a formula in there that you could have. You can't have too much end load compared to, you can't have too much hand weight because it slows the hands down. So a lot of these bat companies started taking weight out of the hands, and you can't take too much. You can't be at a 7 ounce handle weight with a 16 5-ounce end weight. It's going to be too, you can't push that weight. It's going to be too tough for you to push that weight. So the reason I talk about formula is because there's an ideal weight, and a lot of these bat companies right now are experimenting with weights to try to get that formula as close as they can for the best performance of their bat. You know, I call it fine tuning. When you're tuning something, you know, to get it to whip for you, to get that performance out of that barrel. And it has a lot to do with everything, handle flex, and I've told a lot of people about this in the past videos. You know, and another thing too, when I say I mean we. I mean me and Billy and Bubba are brainstorming on this. You know, when we go out, we're usually talking softball. When we're finished hitting, we're talking about different bats, what kind of handle flex. You know, you'll pick it up a lot in the behind the scenes videos that we do. You know, so when I say it's mainly just we. You know, I just get where I'm talking about something and I say I because I'm the one talking, I guess, in a lot of these videos. And Billy told me, you know, a few years ago, I just need to keep my mouth shut when it talks about formula because a lot of these bat companies watch our videos and they'll take that formula that I put out there and they'll apply it to their own products. It has happened, gentlemen. I know that for a fact. So my formula, you know, I have it. I pick bats on my formula whenever I go out and I'll choose bats. It's not, you know, and I talked about this, you know, to give you a prime example, the way people pick bats, I pick bats, I don't go pick bats by 26 ounce, 26.5, 27, 27.5. I don't do that. I need to get the end weight compared to the handle weight. Because if I buy a Joe Blow company bat that's out there and I pay $250 for it, $220 for it, they claim that it's a 26 end load, but I get that son of a bitch home and I weigh the hands and it's 10 ounces on the hands, I'm going to have a problem with that because that's more of a mid load, you know, and you've got 16.2 on the end, then I actually got lied to because that's not, and this has happened to me in the past, guys. You know, they claim to be a max load, and companies out there, I'm not going to call any companies out. Companies out there produce these bats out there. I've got a super max. Happened last year, guys. I get the bat and I weigh it. You got 10.2 in the hands and you got 16.5 on the end. That's not a super max. Super max, it is a 17.3 and a 9.5 or a 9 on the hands. So a lot of these companies just throw shit out there and hope it sticks, you know. But if you take your bats and you choose your bats by weighing the end cap, weighing the handle weight, you're going to come out with a formula that you like swinging, and then go through that because I'm not going to tell you how to get to it, but because a lot of people listen, like I talked about, and a lot of people's, I'm getting late. It's getting late. A lot of companies watch these videos and they'll get that when I talk about it, they'll get it and they'll apply it to their product. And say, oh shit, it works, you know? Um, so, and guys, I have it on tape. You guys can go back on all my videos I've done for 11 years and go back to the earlier ones and listen to what I talk about. It's just something I've been preaching for a long time, and a lot of companies out there has applied it. But the deal about a lot of these back, let me give you an example, okay? When I'm talking about bat weights too, I kind of put that in here, but I'm talking about bat weights. Well, what bat do you like swinging, a 26 or a 27? Well, I don't know. It all depends on how it's loaded. Because if you take an OG, okay, red knob, 12-inch barrel, and you weigh a 26 ounce OG red knob, you know that bat weighs exactly the same as a 27 ounce 2.0 12-inch blue one. Dudley, OG. So the 2.0 27 weighs just like the 26. But if somebody would have bought a 26 on the OG and then went out and got a 26 ounce on the 2.0, it wouldn't have swung right for them. They couldn't have jumped right into it. That's how I can jump from a 26 ounce red knob Dudley right into a 2.0 27 ounce because they're weighted. I don't know why Dudley did that, but it's just that's the way it's weighted. They both have the same end load and they both have the same handle weight. So when somebody asks me, what's your formula? I kind of don't answer them, and hopefully they'll forget or they won't keep bugging me about it. And usually that's what happens. But Billy told me, just don't say anything because what's going to happen, he said this years ago and it happened. It happened twice, you know. So I really don't talk about that, but the way the bats are weighted nowadays, guys, you can't go by ounces anymore because the weight, like if you're jumping from one bat to another, like if you're jumping from a pure, right now, I'm talking about bats right now. If you're jumping from a pure 26 ounce in 26.5 or whatever they make to an Onyx 26 or 26.5, those bats are going to be weighted different. One might be half an ounce heavier on the end. Prime example, we just got a prototype, but we got a couple other bats coming in from Pure. A 26 ounce prototype Pure is, hell, it's 16.2 on the end the way I weigh my bats, and the handle weight is a 9. So shit, it's got light handle weight. It's more like a mid load, a light end load. So I want that big mass on the end. I want that close to 17, a 16.8 on the end. I want a 9.2 on the hands, 9.5 on the hands. That way I can, when I do a review, I can get the best performance out of that bat that I can on compressing that wall, basically. So they're going to have to come out. I wouldn't mind this happening in the next 5 years, is start putting in weights on bats, start putting handle weights on bats, and start putting flex. How much flex are you getting out of that barrel? I know that's too much to ask for because, these bat companies to actually start doing this shit, because it's a pain in the ass for them to do it. It's too much micromanaging to have these people get in there and start doing this crap. And it's all about money, guys. It's all about, shipping, getting something made and getting it the hell out of there so they can get paid as fast as they can. Meeting their quota, actually, when it comes to that shit. Next question. Dave, I dropped 2 fingers and I have here you go. I dropped 3 fingers and have an overhand grip. It added 15 feet onto my ball. Good for you, man, because I cannot do that. I tried that 1 year, an overhand grip on the top. I could not do it, guys. It killed me to do it. I want to add another 10 feet. What do I do? All right. Man, I'm going to stay away from that grip, because if it's working for you, then do it. The one thing about that grip that I tend to, it didn't work for me, was I had no control. I could not place the ball the way I placed the ball. I couldn't do my tomahawk the way I tomahawk. I have more control with both hands. I hang over a pinky and a half. Like on that knob, the way I hold that knob is it goes across my third finger. The one right next to the pinky, it goes across that. And then my top hand grip is completely, with my fingers, is completely on. I don't over grip my pinky. I don't lift it out. I actually tuck it in. All right, there's some things you can do. This is David. First one is get your testosterone checked. I just did a video on that. On if guys want to add 10 feet or 15 feet onto the ball, get your testosterone checked. If your testosterone's lagging, you're not going to tell you right now that's going to help you. I can talk about what I would do. Try to get more leg drive, try to get more whip, videotape yourself, talk to Ken Vanbergard, Steve Emily, Alan Tanner about getting that more drive, because there are certain things you can do to get more whip, more weight transfer. I talked about this, and me and Billy talked about this in a video the other day, that the bats nowadays have made people weak. They don't have to work anymore. I was talking to my son the other day, and I said, "You want to be a good hitter?" I said, "Get an aluminum bat. Go down to this, these sporting goods stores that sell used, too good to be through, used sporting goods. Pick you up an aluminum bat, an old piece of shit, pay about $5 for it, and start hitting that thing if you want to get good. Stay away from composites. Only use the composite in games, and make sure they're weighted the same. That's another thing too. Make sure they're weighted the same. But if you want to train in the off season, use an aluminum bat. That would actually put some feet onto your ball, because you're going to learn. You're going to actually learn to use your body like they did back in the old days. Back in the day when we used aluminum bats. You had to do torque. You had to do weight transfer. You had to do the whip. You had to get the ball, hit the ball. You had to cut the ball to do all this. Now, the composite bat has made people not have to work so hard when they're out there. But that's my little rant when I'm talking about this. First thing, everybody, get your testosterone checked. If they're not adequate, nothing I can tell you is going to help you. If they're good, do a little bit of tricep work, do a little bit of leg work. Legs are big. Make sure you have your legs up underneath. You can do all the tricep work you want to. That's going to increase a little bit of power, but it starts from the legs, guys. Mike Masenko preached this in a video. It starts from the legs all the way up. If your legs are strong, you're going to have power. Shit, I noticed that. Now, if you guys remember, I had COVID. I lost 35 pounds, and most of that was in my legs. My home run, my distance suffered by 30 to 40 feet because I had no legs. I've got my legs back. Now my distance is picked up. So that's a prime example, guys. If you have no legs, you're going to have no power. So I would do a little bit of leg work routine. I don't recommend us seniors getting under a squat bar, but the way to get that leg up, those legs up, not necessarily mean walking. Maybe a fast walk, a brisk walk, not really running. It's too much for our body. I would actually do something called belt squats. Look it up. It's where you tie a belt around your waist. You can tie it onto a dumbbell and then get up on some boxes and just do like a belt squat. That's going to build those legs up during the off season we're coming up to, and it's going to help you tremendously. Tricep push downs, get a little bit of strength in those triceps. Don't do any kind of bicep work. Don't do any kind of chest, wide grip chest. I don't recommend a lot of seniors getting underneath the bench bar. Just do some tricep extensions, maybe with a dumbbell or a kettlebell. They're pretty easy. Maybe do some tricep extensions with that. Hell, you can tie a kettlebell, onto a strap around your waist. Belt squats is what they call it. Look it up on YouTube and do kind of like belt squats. That's what I recommend. Then what's going to help you too is what bat you're swinging. If it's a top tier bat, if you're not swinging a top tier bat, I would recommend buying a top tier bat, top 5 maybe. On my list, and you're hitting it over a 300-foot fence, and I think you are, close 3. You got your bat speeds up there pretty good. Try get not necessarily a hard barrel bat, maybe a softer barrel bat's going to benefit you if you're just hitting 300 feet. I'm just going by what I think your bat speed is. Maybe a little bit, not a really soft barrel, but a little bit softer barrel bat. I have them on my website. You guys can pick from there. And basically, 10 feet, man. That could be, that's the difference between being dehydrated one day and being hydrated the next. That's what if you're dehydrated, you lose 60% of your strength. So make sure you have enough water in your body. Make sure you have enough minerals, vitamins. Make sure you're hydrated, because that's the worst thing you can do is go out there and be dehydrated when you're playing softball. That's just what I would do. That's not really a lot, to get 10, 15 feet. That's just a little tweak here and there. And hell, I just mentioned all the tweaks that you can do, especially with your swing. Maybe feet closer together when you're swinging. That gives you a little bit more stride. Maybe dragging that back leg a little bit more torque in your hips. So there's just a lot of things that you can do. Man, I don't know how you do an overhand grip though. That would kill me. I've tried it, man. I can't get no consistency in batting average whenever I did it. My batting average fell 70 points whenever I did it. And hell, I went back to, holding the bat grip the way I hold it now, and I got a lot better control. I can hit 5-6 hole up the middle. I'm not telling you to go back. I'm just telling you, shit, if you work on the other things, you can go back to a regular grip. But hell, you probably like that grip. So I shouldn't be saying shit. Dave, can you, and I know I told you guys this, I'm kind of getting scolded right now by Chris. Can you put the bat weight videos on the end of your videos? Yes, I can, and I'm going to start doing it as we speak right now. I just need to be reminded to when I cut up videos. I actually did the Billy Hudson video the other day with the Onyx Billy Hudson bat, the signature series, and I did not put I did not put bat weights on the end of that, so I will do that. I'll try to kind of sneak them in there and tell you guys what they are in the comment section down below, um, and let you guys know what I got. But I will put them on there from now on, and kind of update the videos that I have right now. Not the videos, but my YouTube channel. I'll try to update that, and not my YouTube channel, my my website, and I'm going to try to update that. That way, you guys can get on there and look at the bat weights a lot better. Last one, guys, because it's getting late. Dave, if you were coming up, this is from Todd. Dave, if you're coming up in the bottom of the seventh, 2 outs, winning runs at second base, you have home runs left, what bat would you want in your hands? It's a pretty easy question. Whatever bat I was swinging that whole year. Whatever bat, and it would probably be a top tier bat. It would be whatever bat I was swinging that year, because I'd have to get used to it during the whole year. I don't change bats through the year, guys. I do not change bats through the year. I always stay with the same bat I started with in the early year. That way I have enough confidence when it comes into Worlds at the end of the year, any kind of World Tournament, SPA, SSUSA, ISSA that I'm at, I always use the same bat. You got to feel comfortable with the same bat. The worst thing you can do is jump from bat to bat. Your confidence is not high when it comes in situations like that. So I would want to use whatever bat that had got me there is the bat that I would want to use. Now, that being said, it would be the OG 2.0 27-ounce Dudley. That's the bat I'm comfortable with. That's the bat I have more confidence in. And that's the bat I swung all the end of this year after my OG broke. And that's the bat that I swung the year before. So yes, that would be my bat of choice. But guys, when you got there, you've been that far, you should have the utmost confidence when you come up there that doesn't matter what the guy throws, you're going to hit it hard. And that's another thing too. There's a video I want to put out for you guys and have Billy get into this about your mindset about pressure. You know, I think a lot of you guys have asked me questions about this and asked Billy questions about this. Is I want to get Billy and Bubba in like a little podcast like I'm doing right now and talk about pressure, because Bubba's learned all this stuff from Billy throughout the years on how to handle yourself when you're coming up in situations. You know, guys know Bill Blake. He has stuff out there where he's game-winning home runs in bottom of the seventh, you know, and just his attitude, his not giving a shit attitude. Doesn't matter what you throw. I've been here, done that before, and I'm going to hit it a freaking mile to win a game. And how to handle that pressure when it comes in. A lot of people are put in that situation where they don't want to let the team down. So I want to do a 1 hour podcast. I want to do a 1 hour podcast just about that. You know, talking about the mental aspect of playing upper class, getting to that next level that me and Billy and Bubba can pass on to you guys and maybe help you out, you know, because once you start moving up the food chain, I call it, you know, it creates a lot more pressure, you know, where the game comes up. You know, you're in a game where it comes up where you can win that game for your team, and you want to do the best that you can. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to put out a few more of these within the next couple of weeks, and be safe, guys. Thanks.